Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're counting down our picks for the most demanding bosses from across the Souls-like genre. Keep in mind, we won't be including any bosses from the actual Souls series and other From Software titles.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Pride, Darksiders III.
Confidence suits you. When earned, yes. You are proud. See, I never understood why pride was considered a deadly sin.
To go from a Zelda-inspired open world to adapting the linearity and ferocity of a Souls game was certainly a choice, especially for the third entry in a franchise. However, this also opened the way for some brutal boss fights, and sitting right at the top was the strongest of the 7 sins. Her sword swings and AoE attacks can be trouble, but overcome with patience. But the real kicker for Pride is her second phase, where she adds a laser to the arena, causing you to constantly jump out of the way while trying to maintain your attack. Truth. Titan Souls. Being able only to attack with one arrow is not exactly the best weapon to have on hand when encountering giant eldritch creatures in a boss gauntlet. This becomes especially true of its secret final boss. Taking on all manner of shapes, Truth will not only turn the screen into a bullet hell, but will disorientate by assuming various forms. By the time you finally find your footing and are ready to take your shot, you're likely to find yourself getting trampled. Lu Bu, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. It might seem crazy that the strongest boss in a game filled with demons of every size is actually some dude on a horse. Except for those who have put a lot of time into Dynasty Warriors. In both history and the gaming scene, Lu Bu is practically unstoppable. With his halberd, trusty steed and bow, this legendary warrior will devastate your health bar if you've yet to master Wolong's brand of combat. Whether on 4 legs or 2, Lu Bu is a certified deathbringer. Grove Keeper Topoda, another crab's treasure.
I thought I made it clear. There's nothing for you here. Has your sense of self-preservation rotted away, even? Or perhaps you truly wish for death?
A mantis shrimp with a fabulous accent who can punch at the speed of light. This game has got it all. Among the nightmarish sea dwellers that Krill encounters on his journey to reclaim his shell, this optional boss will be waiting off the beaten path. Don't let its fabulous design throw you off guard. Topoda hits faster and harder than any other boss in the game, and can shatter any shell you have should you mistime your counter. The cherry on top? You have to beat him in order to unlock upgrades for your magic attacks.
I shall see you to the drain!
The last son of the miracle, Blasphemous. His Holiness Escribar was something of a challenge, but compared to the other monstrosities that the miracle unleashed onto the world, he was certainly on the lower scale of things. And then he took on his final form. To even have a chance of injuring this thing, you not only have to avoid a continuing elemental bombardment, but destroy his giant homing sword, which in turn triggers temporary platforms, giving you a brief window to land a few strikes, before the whole thing resets. If the miracle's intention was to make us prostrate ourselves before its unholy difficulty, it succeeded. Oggdo Bogdo and Spawn of Oggdo. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Whoever decided that this boss needed to exist deserves to be burned at the stake, or at the very least roasted by force lightning, because this is something that could only come from a Sith mind. An optional challenge, Cal Kestis is pitted against not only one giant space frog, but 2 at once. Both armed with insta-kill attacks that can end you before you have time to bust out your lightsaber. Nothing inspired rage quite like losing to these reptiles because they kept leaping over one another to take a bite out of you. Laxasia the Complete, Lies of P. Complete is certainly right, because Laxasia completely dominated us when she arrived on the scene. Not only bringing a giant-ass sword to the fight, but the power to unleash a full thunderstorm at the click of a finger. The most powerful puppet running amok in this bloody take on the classic Pinocchio tale, Laxasia will crush those who haven't fully devoted themselves to the parry mechanic. Even then, her second phase will have you scrambling on account of her teleportation, status effects, and askew timings with her swings. Cannoneer and Blade Bearer, Code Vein. Anytime a duo boss shows up in a Soulslike, chances are they're going to be the most difficult of the bunch. In the case of Code Vein, this is most certainly true. If the Blade Bearer isn't lashing out and creating quagmires of ice, then the Cannoneer is blasting you from afar with giant fireballs. Unless you've got an NPC partnered with you, then this duo are going to dogpile you. Not so much working in tandem as they are likely to barrage you every chance they get. Best hug those pillars. Maria, Nioh.
Nos habéis arrebatado nuestra edad de oro. Don't pretend we're the same.
She may not be the Maria we most associate with Souls games, but damn if this little lady didn't offer a heaping helping of game overs when we crossed swords with her. She is fast. Able to spin her way out of tight corners before unleashing blows with her rapier faster than we can blink. In a game where you fight mythological monsters, demons aplenty, and friggin' Hayabusa from the Ninja Gaiden series? We were not expecting one of its biggest trials to be this slender belle with a blade. But that's what we get for underestimating Lady Maria of the Spanish Inquisition. Absolute Radiance. Hollow Knight. As far as secret bosses go, the Radiance was one of the most demanding that both Souls-like and modern Metroidvanias have ever produced. Between the teleporting, abundance of screen-filling attacks and shaky platforming, beating this wicked deity was a monumental undertaking. Now crank the difficulty to 11 and place it at the end of a gauntlet made up of 40 boss fights, and you have absolute Radiance. An upgraded version that will, without question, make you see the light after breaking you repeatedly.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.